Hey everyone, I am back in my messy office, and what I'd like to do in this video is talk about GPU mining and raise the question, is GPU mining dead? This is not going to be a popular subject to bring up, and I do realise that. I do realise I'm going to attract a lot of trolls and keyboard warriors. They're not happy about the fact that I'm even bringing this up, but we have to face facts that yes, we're in a bear run and yes, things could flip around, but I do think that the way things have went this year, I'm not sure that GPU mining will ever go back to the way it was. Now, whilst I'm on this subject and whilst I've got your attention, I would like to do a live stream about this. In my videos, a lot of the time I ask a question like I am doing just now, or I give you my opinion on something, and all you guys post a comment. Now, I do want you to post a comment on this video, but in the future, I would like to do a live stream about the future of GPU mining, and I'd like 4, 5, 6, 7 of you guys to jump on with me if you're for or against, pros and cons, and we discuss all the ins and outs of GPU mining, and you guys can give me your opinion about where you see the market going. So if you're interested in that, please do leave a comment, please do get in touch with me. You don't have to be on camera, you can just go do it through your phone, it just has to be audio. And I think it'd be interesting to get different opinions on this, because this is a big topic, it's an important topic, and it does influence cryptocurrency. So the reason that I'm bringing up this subject today, specifically today, is because Nollis sent me a video today, thanks to Nollis, and it's from Digital Gold, a YouTuber called Digital Gold, and the video is entitled, "We are closing the hard truth behind crypto." And he's walking around his warehouse and he's showing all the graphics cards, all the different units and accessories and all the equipment that he's bought over the last few years, and he's talking about the fact that he has to sell it all because he's not making any money. Now, whether you agree with that guy's stance, whether you agree with what he's doing, I think you need to give him kudos for actually being upfront about this and being honest about it. He's putting himself out there, he's being honest about what's happening with his business. And there's a lot of people who aren't doing that. There's a lot of companies that are just shutting down and they're just kind of discreetly moving away from crypto, or they're staying in crypto but they're just closing down their hardware, they're closing down their cryptocurrency mining setups. I know that that's not an easy thing for him to do, because I know the amount of abuse and negative comments and just abusive comments all the time when I discussed the fact that I was even selling some of my GPUs, and I talked about scaling down. I got all the criticism that you expect I would get, as far as, oh, you were never serious about crypto, what are you doing, you should mine at a loss, all these different things. I had a lot of discussions about this with everyone, but I did get a lot of negativity from it. So yes, I'm sure I will get a lot of it from this again, but I guess I'm in a similar position to this guy here, but on a much smaller scale. He's obviously invested a lot more money than me. 1 year ago, or a little bit more than 1 year ago, I started investing in cryptocurrency hardware. And throughout 2018, for the vast majority of 2018, I had 4 or 5 mining rigs behind me, and I had about 30 GPUs running. Right now, I have 2 GPUs. I've got one in my main PC, and I've got a 1080 Ti over there, just sitting in the box, and if I can't sell it, it's going to go into my main PC, or perhaps a new PC that I'll set up for downstairs. But I'm not sure if you can see it, but behind there as well, I've got 2 or 3 motherboards, I've got 3 power supplies, I've got RAM, I've got hard drives, I've got a ton of USB risers, and that's the thing, when you're talking about selling your equipment, a lot of people talk about GPUs, but you forget there's all these other pieces of equipment that you have to buy for GPU mining, certainly at a scale, at a large scale. Now, I think it is worth pointing out when I talk about GPU mining and whether it is dead, is that you have to think about this as a business. And as far as GPU mining goes, what I found with a lot of discussions, but people were going back and forward with me, they're saying that you should mine at a loss and all that. At the very end of the discussion, quite a lot of them actually said, well, I've only got 1 GPU and I rent, I rent my apartment, or I live with my parents. And frankly, at that point, I'm not going to say that the argument's invalid, but if you're not paying for your electricity and you've only got a couple of GPUs, I don't think that you can compare your setup to what I had with 4 or 5 rigs, or what this guy had with a ton of rigs and a whole warehouse. It's a completely different situation as far as scaling the operation, as far as, you know, buying all the equipment, infrastructure, everything. So take that into account. Is GPU mining dead? No. My thoughts on it are probably no, but it's not good. And I think that as time goes on in the future, GPU mining will still exist, but we might see it go the same way that CPU mining is right now. It might be a super niche type thing. It might be a hobby thing. But as far as the top cryptocurrencies, the top 100 cryptocurrencies being a GPU only mining coin, I think we're going to see that less and less and less. Now, it's easy for me to say that right now. We are in a bear market, and I do appreciate when we go on a bull run, all of a sudden, all these GPUs that aren't profitable, that actually lose you money, all of these GPUs could actually start making money. And, you know, GPU mining all of a sudden becomes a craze again. All of a sudden, it makes a lot of money again. But, you know, having gone through the highs and the lows in that this year, I would be very hesitant to drop a lot of money into it again. I have absolutely zero regrets about what I did, about how much I invested. I learned a lot, I enjoyed the experience, but I think I know the pros and the cons of the market now. And you know, in the market that we're in just now, I think that even today, ASIC mining is quite risky, you know, right now. But obviously in a bull run, things change, things become profitable. But you have to realise that unless you've got the hardware sitting there and you get everything correct just at the right time, and it's hard to know when the right time is, but unless you get in there really early with something like this and you pick your time right, then GPU mining is unlikely to be profitable long term, I think. But it does depend on the way that you set it up. It does depend on your operation. It does depend on the coins that you mine, etc. What I think I've gained over the last few months with the bear market as well is seeing where the teams are coming from as far as GPU mining goes. If you kind of rewind and look at it from their side, you know, flip it on its head and look at things from their point of view, one of the reasons they went for GPUs was because they can easily, you know, bring a lot of people to their project, bring a lot of people to their community, and they can bring these GPU miners in. But with so many people selling GPUs, it's harder to do that, and then maybe start looking at ASIC miners or CPU, perhaps even CPU mining, but they'll start looking at alternative solutions. And we've seen that this year in 2018. We've seen you know, more people turning towards masternodes and proof of stake instead of proof of work. I don't know where the market's going. I'm not going to suggest that I do, but you know, as far as the whole thing, you know, as far as the whole market and all that, but I do think that over time, I do think we're going to see more projects opt for proof of stake and masternodes. And if they do proof of work, they might choose ASIC miners rather than go down the GPU route. I think GPUs are going to be more of a niche product, which means that if you are a GPU miner and you have very low electricity rates right now, you can still find coins to make money from. You can still find GPU mineable coins. But I think the glory days of everyone making a ton of money with a coin like Ethereum are perhaps over. It's one of those things. I can, you know, having looked at the kind of operation that he had as well, and there's a lot of people out there like that had huge investments in hardware and GPU mining, and also in ASIC mining. We've seen a lot of people with Bitcoin miners as well that are switching off. But I think GPU miners were the first casualties of the bear market, and these guys were getting hurt before the ASIC mining guys were. I don't think GPU mining is dead, to summarise my thoughts. And I realise my thoughts are kind of being sporadic here, I'm going all over the place, but I don't think GPU mining is dead. But I do think that it is dying, per se. And it's certainly going to be scaled down to be less popular than it was. And I think that if you look at it from a new cryptocurrencies point of view, I think there's a better argument right now for choosing an ASIC mining algorithm, or choosing masternodes or proof of stake. Even go down a token system or something as well. But I think that, you know, remaining a 100% GPU mineable coin, there are pros for it. But what you'll find, if you do have a project, if you do have a coin that is only GPU mineable, you will find that your hash rate will start dropping. You will find that a lot of the people who used to be invested in your community will not be as invested, and they won't be there as much. And they, you know, we've seen this across the board in Discords and things like that. And if someone can't mine your coin because they can't profitably mine your coin, they can't run the GPUs and make money from mining your coin, they have to sell their GPUs because of electricity rates and low profits and all that. If they can't mine your coin, then they're not going to be in Discord, and they're not going to have coins to sell, and they're not going to be as involved in the community. So because of all of that, I think that across the board, there's going to be less GPU miners across the market. You know, that's the way that I look at it. And certainly, you know, someone from the UK, someone from Europe paying, you know, maybe double that what a lot of people in the USA is paying, and people in the USA are paying perhaps double what people in Asia are paying. Electricity is something that was never a factor in a bull run, but it became more and more of a factor as time went on, as profits came down. And I think that that's always going to be the case with mining in general. It's kind of a race to the bottom in that regard as far as competitiveness goes, as far as it being so competitive that the people who will win and the people that are most profitable will be the ones with the lowest, you know, the lowest costs. And the main costs, you know, if GPUs are the same, you know, same cost across the world, the cost will be infrastructure as far as warehouses and all that, but electricity is the main one. Electricity is the main cost. So yeah, I'll turn it over to you guys because I realised I went over this same subject many times. Is GPU mining dead? Let me know what you think about it. My opinion is that it's not dead, but it's dying. I think it's going to be scaling down in a big way in 2019, 2020. And that raises different discussions, different topics as far as centralisation, decentralisation goes. But I'm a realist as well about the situation. I think GPU mining is going to remain a niche thing. I think it's still going to be there. I don't see it going away in the next couple of years. I think it's still going to be there, and I think there's still going to be coins that do support GPUs, and that they are still going to be an advocate for GPUs. But I think that if you look at all the new coins that have been listed on Bitcoin Talk over the last few months, you can see that there's less GPU coins and more proof-of-stake coins, more Mastodon coins, and perhaps even more ASIC coins. So yeah, I don't think it's dead, but I think it's dying. Let me know what you think, guys. Leave a comment below. But again, I'd love to expand upon this subject and talk about it more in depth. So if you'd like to jump on in a live stream and talk to myself and others about this subject, and the guest, I don't want it all to be one-sided. I want to hear people that are for GPUs come on as well. So if you are interested in doing that, please do leave a comment or buzz me on Twitter or somewhere else in social media. Get in touch with me and we'll arrange a time that's hopefully good for everyone and we can discuss it. So thanks for watching, guys. Please do leave a comment below and I'll speak to you all very soon. Take care.